On tonight, using that rise ball effectively, Michelle.
Yeah, it's been that rise at multiple levels. She'll throw it at your belt, and then she'll bring it right back over your eyeballs. And she's not afraid to throw that pitch over the heart of the plate to get the swing and miss. So the first three batters, she had those couple of walks in there, but then the last five faced 4 strikeouts with the rise ball and 1 with the changeup.
She will face 9 and then the top of the order. Emma Clark, the freshman from Cleveland, North Carolina. So the development here early on, the early exit for Carlin Pickens. So, I mean, she's been laughing with her teammates. She's been going through everything with them, talking right there to Megan Rhodes-Smith, the pitching coach. It does not appear on the outside, Michelle, that she's hurt.
Yeah,
but
it's hard to say at this moment.
1 inning of work, 21 pitches.
And at this point, it could just be a coaching philosophy, like we're going to wait for our offense to put a run up on the board. We don't want to burn your innings because we think we're going to possibly use you in all 3 games.
Clark takes a strike. They lost a lot of key weapons from a year ago, so the freshmen jumping right in and doing their share of the work for Tennessee. Here's the 2-2. Slow roller to Katie Bennett. 1 down. I mean, you lose Kiki Malloy, one of the greatest in school history. You lose Peyton Gottschall, a 20-game winner in the circle, who was a terrific, made for a great 1-2 punch.
Yeah, and you have to have freshmen that come in and step up. And, the key, too, is that when you have talented freshmen, you get them in the games early in the season. So by the time you're halfway through this SEC season, they are seasoned athletes.
Here's another one of the freshmen. Morgan walked, got into scoring position in the first inning.
Shift on for Texas. They have no right fielder.
Yeah.
So they're going to have 5 infielders.
3 on the left side.
You can see Scott and Good make Leanne Good has moved over Bennett, and then Maloney comes in from right field.
Yeah, so Scott at third. Good, the shortstop, is now in that 5-6 hole. And
actually check that.
That's Katie Stewart.
The left fielder came in.
Yeah,
okay.
She's playing what would be traditional shortstop ground against the lefty slapper.
This is when we talk to young athletes and tell them you've got to be versatile. This is maybe one of many reasons why. If you're an outfielder, you still need to know how to field a ground ball off the dirt. This is also something that you can do when you have a pitcher like Kavan, who is usually very good with her control, knowing that, all right, more than likely every pitch is going to be on the outer half.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 5, 2 down.
And Morgan, the freshman, is going to bite after a pitch on the outer half. As a hitter, when you see this defensive alignment, you got to know everything's going to be on the outer half. That's a drop ball, just dives away from Morgan. She tries to reach for it, but it just falls off the table. 5th strikeout for Kavan.
And using her 3rd different strikeout pitch with the rise and the change. Defense goes back to a more traditional look, although Caden Henry still shading to the left out in center field. With Kinsey Fiedler at the plate. Grounded to third base, her first time out. The only base runners tonight, a pair of walks for Tennessee.
Cavan immediately used as a freshman. In fact, first big game out against UCLA, we were wondering who Texas would throw last year, and it was the freshman Cavan. And she is just settled in. So when she threw in the Women's College World Series, she throws in big games like this. She's very comfortable for a young pitcher.
Yeah, she says confidence is not the absence of self-doubt, but the ongoing resistance to it. And she is very sure of her skill set.
Well, both of these clubs work with sports psychologists. They've both actually read the book Twin Thieves, which talks about, facing your fears and just, learning to pitch and work through stuff.
That's a called strike, full count. Fiedler wanted to walk.
This is a rise ball in the inner half and right at the belt level.
Full count. Fiedler is a player that Tennessee looks to kind of set the tone. Karen Wheatley loves her swagger at the plate. Looking for their first hit of the night. And she does draw the walk, so their third base runner on a free pass. And here comes the heart of the order. Their 1, 2, and 3 hitters have all drawn a walk tonight.
It's 3 walks already in this game. That's the most walks since Cavan has pitched 6.1 innings against Ohio State. So typically works around those walks to control the zone. But this is, you can tell again, a Tennessee team that knows what they're hunting. They're trying to lay off that rise ball, very difficult at times, forcing Cavan to use multiple pitches.
Panel hitting .372 this season with 2 outs. Now the battery will chat, and so will the defense with some speed at first base. Pitch count up at 62. It's also a possibility we would see Cavan in all 3 games in this series. She's pitched in 11 of their 12 SEC games, made an appearance in each of those.
See if Panel gets the green light with 3-0.
And now back-to-back walks.
You can see Reese Atwood kind of put her head down. I think that was a pitch earlier to one of the other hitters that was called a strike. So for a rise ball pitcher, it can be difficult at times knowing where you've got to throw that pitch height-wise to get the call, especially when your opponent is not swinging at it.
So 2 on for the number 4 hitter, Boo Gibson. She'll take strike 1. Cavan struck her out with a rise ball back in the first. Trying to jam her in on the hands.
And Cavan asking for Atwood to check on that. A check, no swing.
Gets the swing and miss at 68 miles an hour, 1-2.
Kavan just makes a small adjustment, brings that ball a little bit more over the white part of the plate, and that's where I think Kavan, if she's not getting the corner, she's going to have to throw that ball a little sweeter over the white. That's a good take. That is tough to do when you've just swung at a pitch. That was even a little further inside. That pitch is right down the middle, but it's elevated. Gibson lays off it.
Couple on board via the walks. Already the 70th pitch of the night coming up for Teagan. Two to Gibson. And another full count.
Again, that is a tough pitch to take. It's just above the belt. And this is the danger right here of Gibson when you're trying to throw a pitch too sweet. Worry about not walking her.
Right down the middle, called strike 3. And a pair of Ks in each of the first 3 innings for Kavan.
Well, Teagan Kavan with so much experience for this young sophomore ability. Close, Beth, and they are driven to have the opportunity. They love playing as this #1 ranked team in the country. They work hard, they take a lot of pride in it, which Mike White has really built himself a great program here with a ton of talent.
They are 16-0 here at Red and Charlene McCombs Field in Austin. They have 3 of their last 4 SEC series at home as they try and go back-to-back, winning a Big 12 championship and then an SEC championship. They are playing the 2-time defending champs tonight here at Tennessee. And they love playing here. Their numbers significantly higher at home.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of these hitters, they love to hit here. You know, just something about the ballpark. Averages drop a little bit when they're on the road.
Neuer gets a strikeout of Katie Bennett, the #9 hitter, 1 down.
Freshman Neuer has the ability to throw a lot of different pitches. The Smitty rise ball, this one's a drop ball in the lower half of the zone. She can take a little bit off those pitches. She throws the 3 different speeds, and it's tough to figure her out at times.
Back to the top of the order, and Ashton Maloney, a ground out to short in the first. Flailed at that one way out of the zone. Just the 1 hit so far tonight for the Texas Bats. They hit over 400 here at home as a team. Their slugging percentage, 100 points better than on the road. They score 2 more runs per game here at home than on the road.
Well, the other thing that plays into that too, Beth, is they're going to be playing in a lot of new parks this year. So not used to the ground, the way it looks as a hitter, you know, what's behind the pitcher. All those little things actually can be a big thing when it comes to your comfort zone.
Hostile territory, hostile fans. Their 1 remaining road trip is to Oklahoma. We will have that series for you in its entirety coming up, a couple of weekends from now. They also go up to play Oklahoma State midweek as Maloney gets hit.
Maloney is going to take it on the thigh. That never feels good. This is a pitch. It's supposed to be a drop ball in the inner half, and you can see as she walks through, it hits her right in the belly of that thigh muscle. She's like, ooh, ouch, 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 ouch.
Charlie Horse.
Exactly.
Appears to be all right. She'll stay out there. One out base runner for Caden Henry. And that'll drop in fair. Maloney will head for third, and she slides in safely under the tag. It looked like the throw beat her there. And a double for Henry.
Now how about Caden Henry? It's a big situation. Going to take a pitch and go the opposite way. She's very good at just hitting that ball, getting it inside the line. It actually hits foul and comes back inside the field, and Maloney, after getting hit, is able to leg it. But what a great slide to the back part of the bag. Panel was to the front. Maloney goes to the back side of the bag. Big situation for Texas.
First extra base hit of the night. A couple in scoring position for Mia Scott. .450 this year with a runner in scoring position. Top 5 in just about every offensive category in school history. And it's pretty much money that she will put the ball in play somewhere. She's only struck out 5 times all year.
Just great leadership, great presence.
And a base hit out to right field. That will score 1. And a good hold by Henry at third as Mia Scott drives in a run, and now Texas will pick up a second. As the base runner, Scott, headed for second. Tennessee threw all the way down there. And Henry comes in to score.
Well, Mia Scott is always so clutch. What a great leader. This senior is going to take a pitch on the outer half and get around it. That's that off-speed rise ball. Look at the way she gets around that. She bashes it through the 3-4 hole. Leach with the good throw coming home, easily going to score Maloney. But then look at the way that Scott, she knows, hey, I'm going to take advantage of this. I'm going to go down, and that also gives Henry the opportunity to come home. 2 big runs up on the board for Texas.
That was not the experienced catcher Reese Atwood that threw it down. That was the freshman pitcher in one of the bigger moments of her young career who decided to throw it all the way down to second base and allowed the runner to come in.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, Nugent. And so here is Atwood.
Well, and Beth, to your point, you know, Texas is the type of team that likes to create chaos defensively. They are going to try to get you to throw behind runners. And when you throw behind runners, trust me, Mike White is going to be sending that lead runner all the way.
Karen Weekly was telling us this week that it's so important to keep your focus, to keep your lines of communications open in this kind of situation, and a fortuitous bounce off of second base will allow another run to score. Atwood drives one right back up the middle, and it's 3-0.
Wow, and this is just Texas softball consecutiveness. The double by Henry, then Scott, then Atwood with a runner in scoring position with Mia Scott out there is going to attack early. They know what they're hunting at this point. This is a drop ball in the inner half, and she just attacks it, drives it right back up the middle. As you mentioned, Beth, it goes off the bag. That's going to give Scott the ability to come home very easily.
Still just the 1 out, and it all started with a hit batter. And now 3 straight hits in a row. Here's Jolie Mitchell, who singled her first time up. In her second year at Texas after 4 seasons at Notre Dame, has already extended her hitting streak to 7 games in a row. Had a streak earlier this year where she reached base safely in 23 straight games. Reese Atwood has just matched that, standing down at first base. Mitchell off the end of the bat, and it spins away from Dodge. A knuckleball off the end of the bat.
Yeah, this is that off-speed rise ball, and Mitchell is well out in front of it, and as hard and as weird as it comes off the bat, it is that much harder and weirder to try to field this ball. Look at the way that dodge, the freshman, it's going to spin away from her. That one of the things on a ball that's hit like that, you got to stay on your feet. You got to try to keep that ball however you can in front of you.
4 straight hits, and here comes Katie Stewart. 62 RBI on the season. That is second best in the country. And the sophomore has a big opportunity here with 2 on.
And it's second time through the order. You know, the top of the order did not get to face Newer in that first inning. It was obviously against Pickens. This is a team that is shared information. They make great adjustments.
Stewart is 500 this year with a runner in scoring position. Lays off the rise out of the zone, 1-2. Top of the order. Got it started for Texas.
Well, and even though they have not left the yard yet, Atwood, Mitchell, Stewart, double-digit home runs for Texas, but all of them with great batting averages.
Another one off the end of the bat, and the pop up to second, 2 down. Big out there for Newer. And here comes Nick Hunter. Grounded to short her first time up. She is the 8th to the plate this inning.
Newer continuing to throw that off-speed rise ball. That's the pitch right now that Texas is still struggling to pick up. It's the one that went off the end of the bat to Mitchell. Stewart just popped it up.
Missed up and in. Good block by Nugent, 2-1.
Nugent is doing really well behind that dish. He's got that spinny rise ball upstairs, and then when they come downstairs with the drop, it's up at 68 miles an hour. It gets in the dirt, she keeps it in front of her.
Hot shot to third, and Panel is right there on it. Steps on the bag for out number 3. But 3 runs up for Texas in the third.
Against Texas's pitching staff.
It is likely that Kavan would not start tomorrow, so, you know, there is the counter argument that, well, we'll save our ace for game 2, try and win that, and then it's all out on Sunday for game 3, but you can also make the argument that, well, hey, Pickens threw great in that first inning. Keep her out there and win game 1.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, and I think it comes down to maybe belief in your offense and what you have to do to score runs. Both of these offenses are very good. Texas with more power, Texas with a higher batting average, more walks. But Pickens still, potentially, if she throws tomorrow, would have to go up against potentially a Mac Morgan, who is a very good pitcher in her own right. I mean, this is a Texas team that has a very good staff behind Kavan.
And you can speak, obviously, Michelle, 2-time gold medalist, to the mentality of a pitcher. You want the ball.
Want the ball.
You want the ball every
Always.
night. Yes.
Always want the ball. Sometimes to your detriment.
True. Skied foul.
So I thought what was interesting, though, that Coach Weekly said is the game plan, they're sticking to it, and they are making Kavan throw a lot of pitches. You referenced it early. She is 3/4 of the way to 100 pitches here in just the top of the 4th inning. So the more that pitch count rises, the more pitches they see, the more of an advantage in game 2 and 3.
Called strike 3. And that is strikeout number 7. They've struck out twice in each of the first 3 innings.
Well, and again, being able to paint the corner, putting that rise ball in the outer half. It's got a little out, a little up, and Kavan's pitches are so dynamic. They don't just move on one plane. She has the ability to bend that ball a little bit out, so almost a little curve as it goes up, and then she'll come back with that change up there at 59 miles an hour.
That's now back-to-back strikeouts for her looking. 7 on the night.
You almost have to start like I do, a chart like low rise, high rise, inside, outside. I mean, she just attacks the full zone. And a lot of pitchers are just, let's say they're arm side heavy, so you can split the zone in half and you can just dive into one part of the zone. With Kavan, you cannot do that.
Different planes and different speeds. Scoop by Good at short, 2 down. Gabby Leach struck out her first time out. 80 pitches now for Kavan. In for a strike.
Well, one of the things that makes Kavan so efficient with her form and her velocity is that she's very loose. She doesn't over muscle the pitch. And when she does, she'll throw through her spin. So she does a good job of just trying to almost stay, we like to say, long, lanky, whippy.
She's got the frame for long, lanky, whippy.
She does. She's 6 foot. Pickens is 6'1". So
both these pitchers,
yeah, long levers.
Tall drinks of water. Well, and it's not just her. You know, you talked about this entire pitching staff. Their ERA is 5th in the country. Their whip is 4th in the country. Their strikeouts per 7, 7th best in the country, as you see Mac Morgan. So after you get a full night of rise balls at your eyes, Mac will come back tomorrow with the drop ball at your shoestrings.
About 96% of the time. Now that's a pitcher that you know where you're looking, you know what you're going to get, but it's still, exactly. I think there's a song.
There is.
You know where you're looking, but it's still hard to barrel up. You got to try to get down into that low pitch and reverse the spin on it. After the day prior, you're trying to get on and through the rise ball. Well, one of the things that Texas continues to do well against Kavan is that they've had 9 hitters that have had over 5 pitches in their at-bats. And that's really one of the keys, is that you want to just continue to make that, get to 3-ball counts, get to 3-2 counts.
We'll be chatting with Mike White next half inning. Out in front of that change of speed. This the 6th 3-ball count of the night. Four base runners, all walks. Twice they've had a runner in scoring position, and so far hitless. And another called strike 3. 8 on the night for Tegan.
Tegan Kavan using that pitch on the inner half. Look at the way she's going to dial this in with that low rise ball. Kavan dialing it in with 8 strikeouts.
Her 7th appearance of the season, has thrown just 20 innings. But the freshman is 3-0 with a 2.37 ERA and getting an opportunity to face the Longhorn hitters. It is 8-9 and then the top. Here's Leanne Good. And I'm sure there will be questions, as we have questioned how Tennessee is throwing tonight. After Carlin Pickens got the start, looked really good, was pulled after 1 inning. Karen Weekly told us that was the game plan. Then she goes to the freshman Aaron Newer, and now another freshman here in the 4th in Tanner.
My thoughts go immediately to that. Maybe she believes more in Pickens' ability to win potentially game 2 and 3.
Good, pops it up, 1 down.
So 2 against potentially not Tegan Cavan, whoever Texas throws, and then 3, it's a free-for-all. You're going to come back with her.
Yeah.
So it's almost more belief that my ace can win a couple games for me, maybe not as much of a belief in my younger 2s and 3s, my younger pitching staff. Yeah, they're difficult decisions, all of them. You know, trying to figure out how you're going to scrape out some wins, and we saw it against Oklahoma as well. Pickens did not start game 1 against Oklahoma.
She came on in relief and picked up 2 wins in that series.
So I think it's a selection of when am I going to use my ace and opportunities when my offense can put runs up on the board.
Bennett in foul territory, 2 down. Hey, Sunday Night Baseball comes your way with the Cubs and the Dodgers out in L.A. Shohei Ohtani hosting Kyle Tucker and company out at Chavez Ravine. 7 Eastern on ESPN. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. This is the midway weekend in the SEC slate. We're only 4 weeks away from the end of the regular season. But a loss for Tennessee drops them 4 games behind Texas in the loss column. Of course, you know, coaches tend to think long-term, too. There's always a chance. We're going to see them 3 times this weekend. We might see them again at the SEC tournament. We might see them again in the NCAA tournament. Good inning for the youngster. Peyton Tanner gets a 1-2-3 for Tennessee with 2 strikeouts in each inning tonight. And Tennessee is hitless this evening. 8 strikeouts, 4 walks. They've had a couple of base runners in scoring position tonight. 8-9 and the top coming up. Dodge lined out to right field her first time up, had a couple of well-struck foul balls.
Yeah, well-struck changeup after spraying the ball on different sides of the outfield. Those are always things you note as a battery.
Oh, by the way, we do have game 2 for you tomorrow night on ESPN, 6 Eastern.
I'm going to call there's about a 90% chance we might see Carlin Pickens. At least I hope.
Yeah. Again, she seems to be in great spirits. Yeah. We saw her touching her shoulder a couple of times, but she's been laughing with her teammates. There's a smile, so it certainly does not appear to be an injury. And again, Karen Weekly said that was going to be the game plan. Ground ball to second. Bennett's there, 1 down. Hey, how about some NHL action for you as we get close to winding down the regular season? Not once, but twice. We got a doubleheader for you. Caps and Blue Jackets, Ovechkin on the ice, and then Rangers trying to chase that final wild card spot against the Canes. Saturday doubleheader on ABC starts at 12:30. Emma Clark, opposite field, back to the track, and the catch is made by Ashton Maloney, 2 down.
Good job by Maloney to go back and get that ball. And I love the reacts as well as Kavan. Like, no big, that ball was well struck.
Yes, it was.
There's sometimes as a pitcher and you're like, is that going to go out of the park? Is that going to please stay in the park? Please stay in the park.
Here comes the shift for the leadoff, Savia Morgan, with just 2 outfielders and 5 infielders, 3 on the left side. That is the left fielder, Katie Stewart, coming in to play a little shortstop. So the center fielder, Henry, moves over to left, and the right fielder, Maloney, moves over to center. Morgan has walked and struck out. Morgan tried to drop down the bunt. Atwood shaking it off behind the plate. Oh, by the way, Reese will have a bat in hand in the bottom of the 5th. Part of their order is coming up. They'll get their first look at, well, possibly the rookie, Peyton Tanner. 1-2 pitch.
Continuing to pitch Morgan on the outer half, pitching into that shift for the Texas defense.
Another foul ball to the left side. If he could just get around on one, Michelle, you'd be running for the next day and a half down that right field line.
Certainly would.
But Kavan not likely to put one in there.
No, she's good at hitting her spots, does not cross up her catcher very often.
Full count. Hitting 70 miles an hour with pitch number 100 coming up. Ground ball to short. And it is the
Well, Beth, to your point about this Texas team, it is really about batting average, the way they strike the ball. It's also about the number of walks that they draw.
base hit out to left center. And Caden Henry is aboard.
It's just great adjustments, being able to hit the ball on either side of the plate. They're very strong on the outer half. That pitch is elevated, and she's just going to barrel it up, let it travel, and she goes the opposite way with it. And I think that's the thing that all of these Texas hitters just do well. They're never usually in front of pitches. They let them travel.
Second hit of the night for Caden. So the top three in the lineup have already been on base 5 times, including Scott, who walked in the first and then an RBI single and scored a run in the third.
This is a team as a leadoff that hits .492. So they know how to get on base. They do a good job of drawing walks. They run, they have some speed, 62 stolen bases on the year coming into tonight's game. They're gonna pressure you.
Runner goes, Henry slides in safely as the ball hit her back on the throw from Nugent. And a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, it's like Mike White was listening to me talk about how many stolen bases. He says, no, we're gonna have 63. Great jump, getting down. Nugent's throw offline. Just great turnover by Henry. So fast. 24th stolen base of the year for Henry.
Scott chases the rise ball. Texas, by the way, had a midweek game. So you got to imagine they were prepping a lot for Carlin Pickens and maybe not so much for the other pitchers. Scott gets a hold of one. Back to the track, and the catch is made on the run by Fiedler. Henry will advance to third. One down, and what do you do with Reese Atwood here if you're Tennessee? And they're thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I'm going to go out and talk about it a little bit, especially after Mia Scott just got all into that ball. Off the bat, it sounded like it was going out of the yard.
And I think we're going to have our fourth Tennessee pitcher of the night. Is that Charlie Orsini out there in the bullpen? It is. Junior lefty from Australia. Nope, not going to be her. It's going to be Sage Margetko, the righty sophomore who transferred in from South Carolina. We'll take a break. Pitching change for the Lady Vols. Got some more experience facing Reese Atwood as opposed to the freshman Tanner who just departed. 18 appearances with an 8-2 record. Atwood with 1 out and a runner at third base. Big thing with her, Karen Weekly was saying, throw strikes, trust in your pitches in the zone. Of course, you can't give Atwood much with any fat on it, or she's going to hurt you.
Yeah, she gets ahead of Atwood 0-2, but Atwood is still a very good two-strike hitter.
Oh-2 pitch. And that will trickle foul. Struck out in the first, RBI single in the third, both of those against different pitchers. Look at that, 45% of her career hits are extra base hits.
Yeah, that's well above normal.
Second best in the SEC this year in home runs behind Bree Ellis of Arkansas, who leads both home runs and RBIs. They picked up a win tonight over South Carolina. And a strikeout. Margetko gets Atwood 2 down.
She gets above and gets underneath that rise ball. And look at the way this pitch is going to move up and away. And it's got some curve to it, and that's why it runs away from the barrel of Atwood. So it looks like it's going to go up, and then it comes out. So it's that real tight, spinny curveball, that Margetko can throw, and she gets Atwood on it.
Here's Jolie Mitchell trying to get the run home from third. And Margetko gets in front of her 0-2. Couple of singles tonight for Jolie, both infield hits, and that is right at panel, and they get out of the threat. Margetko does her job coming out of the pen. 3-0 Texas to the 6th.